Guys, welcome back to the Ride Waxing channel. So 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday, lovely jubbly. I would have been on camera a little bit earlier, but I empty all my little trays. These are my trays that catch all my wax that slide in and out of my bench, and this is the bench build I put on my channel, so go across and check it out. This is my channel. Hit like, hit subscribe and share with your friends. And yeah, another snowboard. We've got quite a few skis coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of skis to come up. And we've got a plethora of different styles and designs, so do stay tuned. Hit that subscribe because there's some awesome ski boards coming, which I'll tell you a little bit later on the channel. But in this episode, we're working on this awesome Salomon board. Now, this Salomon board is a little bit unusual in the sense that it has a convex top coat, which I'll pop you in my hand and I'll have a little bit more detailed look. And I actually thought these things here, these little buffer pads, were something the customers added. I did take delivery of the board and it was very, very dark, but under closer inspection, it's actually part of the structure of the board due to the convex top cover. But yeah, great board, a little bit of work to be done, awesome Burton bindings. Let's take a quick look at this board. So here we are, one Salomon snowboard. And as you can see, this is what I was on about, the convex top coat. This actually comes up, across, and then back down again. Obviously, we'll clean this up, and I'll show you just in a second how much better that looks, hopefully. Anyway, binding setup, we'll look at that in a second. But obviously, yes, you've got a kind of a peak here. You can see the line, ridge line there. Originally, when I saw these, I just thought these were possibly, that's why it's the 360 turning off, vibration dampeners. So obviously, people do put them in their bindings and stuff to stop chatter, vibration, and obviously to help with jumping and toe edge and stuff. But this is purely and simply to take up the void from the negative side of the boards on each side. So quite a clever technology for Salomon. I thought it might have been something the gentleman had fitted, but when I took delivery of the board in the dark, obviously I didn't feel there was this convex camber. So that's quite a cool design, to be honest. Quite like that. It's first for the Ride Waxing Workshop to have that in there. But yeah, the board itself is not in bad condition at all. It's obviously seen some action, which is good. Flip it over and we'll have a quick look on the underside. So the underside of the board, the word Salomon, we've got some very deep gouges there. So we'll base scrape over the top of those and take all the high spots off either side where the material's pushed out. And then we'll put some P-Tex in there, and we've got a very long gouge here as well, so we'll put some clear P-Tex just in there to fill that up, and again you can feel that high ridge. Rails themselves need a fair bit of love. There's quite a lip on this side, so you can kind of feel that with your nail, but we'll get those detailed and tuned in lovely. Still a bit of structure in the board, which is good, but we'll put that with a wire brush. Obviously wants cleaning and detailing, and obviously it just needs a jolly good clean. But the corrosion on the rails aren't that bad at all, which is nice. They just need tidying up and tuning in, which is the main thing. So let's pop the board back over a second, one-handedly. There we go. Right, let's pop these bindings off. And I always try and do this. So if the customer on all my videos had a problem with his bindings or had to switch out board when on the slopes, you can actually have a look and see where the bindings are set. So at the top here, this is, I would say, the front foot, so a Goofy Rider. We are at 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, so we're at 9 just there. So setting, there's your arrow, there's your 15. It goes up increments of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So we've got a 9 at the front, which is a positive 9, just there. Okay. Middle kind of stance just off the binding, just in case they ever need to be set up. Like I said, lovely Burton binding, relatively new I would say, very good condition anyway, very well looked after. We've got an F2 setting just on the heel, so that basically is where it sits against your boot. So if you want it to be a tighter, you can adjust this here down and it will push this into your boot. It depends if you like a squat stance or flat stance. It depends how you stand in your legs and how much bend you want. Always good to ride with a bend in your legs because it does take a shock absorber, and it also lowers your centre of gravity. And the back foot is nigh on nearly a neutral. So we've got a -3 just there. So a -3. There's a 0, there's a 15. So a nice flat. So it's definitely a directional rider, which is cool. So flat land speed, etc. Carving, awesome. So there you go. And obviously you can adjust other things like your stance and push it in and out depending on boot size, toe and heel drag, etc. But the bindings themselves look in very good condition. There's nothing really wrong with all the buckles. They ratchet all in nicely, which is great because I always check that over. And again, like I say, I'll unscrew these, and then what I do is I use some blue Loctite, and then when I put the screws back in, just a little drop on each thread, and that way then it just secures them in place. But if you ever do have an issue with these coming loose, don't forget, top of the gondola or ski lift, they always have a station where you can screw your bindings for skis and snowboards up. But there we go, I'm rambling on. This is quite a long intro. Pop you on time lapse, stick some tunes on. We're going to strip this off, but this is what the top coat looks like after I've cleaned it. That's better. Clean and shiny. Ready for the snow. Right, let's crack on. Okay, so just a quick dialogue on what I've done. I've got this on because I've just P-Tex all those gouges that are in the base of that board, which we're going to try and sort out. I'm not going to do that very long one because it's so shallow and I don't really want to put P-Tex all the way across the nose. We're going to give that a little bit more of a base scrape. But we've done the base edges, we've done the side edges, and now these edges are really, really sharp. Back here now, just gently. Awesome. We've then deep cleaned the board, so we've used some base cleaner. We've cleaned all the board out, which basically cleans all the dirt out of the board. I've base scraped it before that to open up some of the structure. I've now laid down the P-Tex on the base, which is really, really clean, so it's not sticking to any wax whatsoever. We'll base scrape that, as well as then the whole board for the second time, getting all the dead material and the fluffy material. You can see this green area here, which is quite dull. So we'll bring that back up so we get some proper core material, and then we'll lay the wax into the board. And that way then we're laying it into a fresh base material, and it will hopefully then will absorb all that wax and just hold that wax in, opposed to sitting on top of all the fluffy stuff. So when you go down the mountain for the first time, you just take it all off. That's the idea. We've dull and tipped the ends, so we've reduced catching, so they dull off and then they get nice and sharp, obviously to help with direction and drive. And that's about it, really. The big thing is to clean it, and then when you wipe it off, you wipe it with a cloth, you then turn the cloth and you have a nice clean bit, and you wipe again and you turn it and wipe again. So you're using and not recontaminating the board with the dirt that you've just taken off. So there's lots of little things you need to do. I'm quite fussy. I do like to do things in a certain way. Obviously P-Tex aspect side of things is quite good. We try and get the soot away from the hole so it's not sat in the board permanently. So now it's back on the time-lapse. I will time-lapse this now. We'll base scrape the whole board, and then we're straight into waxing. Sit in a hot room to really open those pores up and absorb that wax in. And always good to just temperature check the top of the board. So just when you're ironing, making sure that that's got a nice deep penetrative heat throughout the board. And away we go. And then it's set. So it's quite a lot of work in the sense of pushing, but you've got to get the base material. This is what obviously pushes you down the mountain, and this is what holds you on the mountain. So you want this to be fast, this to be sharp, and that way then you'll have an awesome time. And that's the aim of the game, really. So stay tuned, guys. I think the smoke is gone because that P-Tex stuff stinks. I'll pop you on time lapse, so stick some more tunes on, and we'll crack on with the base of this board. Okay, so this excellent customer of mine asked basically for level 3. So level 3 is a hot wax scrape. So what we've done is got the wax on the board, we've warmed it up so it's really, really hot, and then basically we've put more wax down, and then we've just pulled that straight off when it's nice and hot. So that really kind of pushes it into the structure of the board. All I'm going to do now is then you scrape it off when it's kind of like a liquidy kind of hot, and it's a bit like those blackhead things. You pull it, it pulls all the grime and dirt out of the board, really cleaning the pores, and then you wax it for a second time. So it's quite a fair bit of wax we've taken off already, as you can see, but basically where that's cleaning the board, we've taken all that wax out. Now I'm a great believer of trying to keep the board as waxed as possible, and you wax on top of wax on top of wax, it just becomes part of the actual structure. Having said that, sometimes you just got to clean it, because if you've got big gouges, these ones are lovely and smooth now because these are all filled from the P-Tex, and so is this one here, and we had one here, we had one here, we had one here, and they're all lovely and smooth, but we've obviously laid a wax, stripped it off, and we're going to do it for the second time. So if that's why you're wondering what I'm doing, that is a hot wax scrape. So the board's nice and clean, we've already getting great colour in this green area here, and we're going to do it a second pass, and then it will just be really enriched with wax, and then we'll strip it all off and buff it all up with brushes, and this thing's going to be absolutely mint. It really is going to come up lovely. Really pleased. I'm really pleased with the P-Tex that's gone in there. It's clear P-Tex that can be quite challenging with the soot. You can still see the lines, hence because it's translucent, but the nice thing is the board's flat. So let's crack on. So there we are, this board has been sat pretty much all day in a hot room, and I've brought it out into my workshop, which is nice and cool, and that's cooled down. This wax is set lovely. We've cleaned up that top coat and polished it, as you saw before. That's come up awesome, lovely and smooth. We've got the Ride Right waxing sticker on there, of course, to tell you where you've had your board serviced, and this thing is getting ready to fly. So we're going to take all the wax off, we're going to pull it all off with a very sharp plastic scraper, and then we're going to use detailed brushes on a drill, and we're going to open up the structure of this board, pulling all those micro waxes out of the structure, and then polishing this bad boy up. Liquid Teflon in the rails, so between now and when this board hits the snow, it won't rust, and you'll be having an epic time just like there. That was in Maribel last year. Absolutely awesome. So guys, this is the fun bit. This is the bit that makes all the difference, and all that hard work that goes into it. This is the bit that makes it fly. So guys, stay tuned, put some music on, and let's crack on with this Salomon. So there we are, the final part is all finished. The detail bit, the brushing bit, the Teflon coating bit. This thing has been edged, it's going to hold it on the mountain, it's got polish and detail in the core. This thing's going to fly. It's going to be pretty much doing that like I was around Maribel. This thing is ready to go. We've done and tipped the ends, we've detailed that top coat, we've got the awesome Ride Right waxing sticker on the front, which is obviously goes without saying, and yeah, one happy Salomon. I think you'll agree the shine on this is absolutely fantastic. Great shine, great definition there in the green. We've pulled the structure back out of the board, you can see all the original structure, the edges are super sharp, detailed, and yeah, really happy with this. It's come up lovely. I'm going to get the bindings bolted back on, so we're going to flip it over, but we're going to wrap it up first, so obviously we don't affect any of this bottom coat that's now smooth and ready to go. We'll get the bindings put back on, hence another reason why I always put those at the beginning of the video, so we know exactly where they're going to be sitting. But that's it, another board done in a Ride Right waxing workshop, until this thing hits that thing and has awesome fun. So guys, stay tuned, hit like, hit subscribe, share with your friends. We've got some wicked skis coming up, some really good skis coming up. So yeah, nothing else to say other than I will see you soon.